Welcome, one and all. You're all back. I want to say hello to my favorite scumbags, hustlers, fienders, and degenerates. You're back for week number 10 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. I'm Stoney. I'm your boy. I'm your red hot boy, Stoney, who's coming off an unbelievable week that nobody could even fathom going into last week, but we turned it up. We made you all money. So that's the plan, is to continue and keep making you money this week going forward for the rest of the season. We're going to start with college football. All right. There's no better way to start because today actually is the 38th anniversary of the play, Cal-Stanford. The most famous play in the history of probably sports. I don't know if that play actually stands, if that happens today. There might have been a knee down. There might have been a forward lateral. There was just so much confusion going on. I don't know if that play would have made it in the modern day world, but happy 38th anniversary to the two biggest names that come out of that game were Stanford quarterback John Elway. That was his final college game. And Cal linebacker Ron Rivera, who's still coaching and still fighting the fight. So 38 years ago today, we had the biggest play in the history of college football. Now we're going to move on to college football, where we just continue to roll along. 7-4-1 2 weeks ago, 7-3 last week. That's 70% for you math majors. 36-23-1 on the season. Those are solid numbers any way you want to slice it and dice it. So we're going to get going right now. Only 10 plays this week, only. But there's some good ones. There's a lot of big matchups on the board. It's a great day to watch television if you're one of those guys that prefers to stay home on Saturdays instead of Sundays and get your fill of football on Saturdays like I do. Anyway, we're going to start with the biggest one of them all, I think. It's number 9 versus number 3. It's Indiana versus Ohio State. They're at the Horseshoe in Columbus, and OSU's laying 20.5, but we're not sold. Sorry, we're going to take Indiana. Yeah, we thought last week Indiana was one of our losses last week. We bet against them. We thought they were going to be looking ahead, and it just didn't work out that way. Penix is playing really well at quarterback, and Indiana is believing. Now, we're not going out on a limb and saying that they're going to go into Columbus and leave with a win. That's not going to happen. OSU's going to win. They're going to win this game comfortably. They might even win by 3 touchdowns. But there's a backdoor play involved here. 26-point lead with a minute left in the game, and Indiana gets that touchdown to spoil OSU backers. Yeah, we'll take Indiana. We'll take the 9th-ranked team in the country at plus 20.5. That's just knowledge. Anyway, roll with Indiana on the road. Game number 2, we're officially on the bandwagon. This is the 4th straight week. We're now rolling with Coastal Carolina. They keep coming through. The Chanticleers are 4.5 at home against Appalachian State. Now, Appalachian State is tough. Appalachian State is, they're having a good year. They're 6-1. Their only loss was to unbeaten Marshall. And they're going into Carolina thinking they're going to leave with a win. Not going to happen. The Chanticleers are 7-0. They're laying 4.5. And they've got eyes on breaking up maybe even a New Year's Bowl. You never know. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. But roll with Coastal Carolina, lay the 4.5, and at home. Game number 3, we're going to take another Big Ten matchup of heavyweights in two teams that are eyeing the Big Ten championship and 2 unbeaten teams. Northwestern is at home getting 7.5 to Wisconsin, but we're going to take Wisconsin on the road. We like what they're doing. Offensively, they haven't switched up at all. They run, they pound it, and they've got a mobile quarterback right now. They've only played 2 games, but the Badgers are rolling. It's still Northwestern. Yeah, sorry, I understand they're ranked and they've got eyes on the prize, but they might cover on a back door, but We don't see it. We see Wisconsin going into Evanston and getting the big win, getting an easy win. So Badgers roll. Game number 4, we like Nevada. We're going to go to the Mountain West here because national television is going to the Mountain West. With the cancellation, the COVID cancellations of 2 or 3 games, CBS is moving their top duo, and they're all heading out to Reno. And they're going to be in Reno this weekend. Nevada at home against San Diego State. We're going to take the hometown Wolfpack. They're 1.5-point dogs. San Diego State's 3-1, and they're playing good ball, and they're putting up big numbers. But Nevada right now is 4-0. They're doing it defensively, and they're putting up a lot of points. It's the Mountain West. Expect a lot of points, weather permitting in Reno. But we like Nevada. Home dog plus 1.5. Roll with the pack. Next up, we're going to go back to the SEC. We're going to take Kentucky plus 30.5 at number 1 Alabama. Yes, can Alabama win this game 40-0? Sure they can. Excuse me. But Kentucky hasn't been bad. Kentucky's 3-4. They have bouts where they're just lost, but then they have bouts where they can put up numbers. So we're going to roll with the up and down Wildcats, but they're getting 30.5. So, final score 38-10. Kentucky wins. So we'll take it. We'll take the points. Next up, we're going to go to Bedlam. Plain and simple. Norman, Oklahoma is the site of this year's Bedlam. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Twice every maybe 10 years, Oklahoma State has a pretty good football team. This year's one of them. On those years that Oklahoma State has a good football team, Bedlam turns into exactly that. Bedlam. So it's going to be wild. There's going to be a lot of points scored. But we're going to take we're going to take the road Cowboys, getting 7 at Oklahoma. We like what they're doing. Oklahoma has bounced back after that miserable start, and they've been steamrolling teams, and they could theoretically do it tomorrow. Not going to happen. Oklahoma State's too good of a team. We'll take the 7 in a high-scoring, fun Bedlam game. Next pick is the same game. We're going to stay with it, and we're going to take the over. Right now, it's posted at 58.5. We're going to stick with it and bet the over because both teams, one team will score into the 40s, one team will score into the 30s. Final score 44-40. Oklahoma wins. That's way over the 58.5. So bet Oklahoma State and the over in Bedlam. Next up, we're going to head up to Eugene, up in the Pacific Northwest. 2-0 Oregon against 1-1 UCLA. Some people say, oh, it's Chip Kelly. He's going back. He's looking for revenge. Oregon, no, he's not. UCLA's playing good ball, though. UCLA at plus 13. We're going to take them. Oregon has been a little shaky. Yeah, they're 2-0, and they're ranked 11th, and they're the favorites to escape out of the Pac-12 for whatever that's worth. But we're going to take UCLA on the road, plus 13. It's the wise selection. Next up, we're going to head to the mountain air of Salt Lake City, and we're going to take Utah. Utah at home in their first game of the season because of all the COVID nonsense and madness. Plus 3, Utah at home against 2-0 USC. USC a case could be made they should be 0-2. They've had 2 miraculous comebacks, and they just haven't looked good. Utah's a good team. Kyle Whittingham is the man. He always has Utah ready, and we're going to take Utah at home. Don't be surprised with an outright win either. Finally, the Degenerate Special. Got to play that every week. It hasn't been kind to us the last couple weeks. It's kind of burned us the last 3 weeks. But you got to play the Degenerate Special because that's why it's there. You're a degenerate. You are a degenerate. So am I. We all are. That's why you're listening to this right now to try to get some tips for this weekend. But the Degenerate Special is Boise at Hawaii. We like Boise. We always have. They're getting some really good play right now offensively. Hawaii's a good team, and Hawaii scares the shit out of a lot of teams that they play, and especially at home. The old adage that I heard 30 years ago was, you always bet Hawaii at home because the teams traveling to Hawaii, they all party, and before they get to Aloha Stadium, and they're partying up and down Waikiki Beach, and by the time game day rolls around, they're just not ready to play. Bullshit. Boise State rolls, minus 13.5. There's your 10-pack of plays for the NCAA, and we look to continue upon our roll, right? We'll take 6-4. That's 60%, right? 7-3 would be nicer, but 6-4 ain't bad at all. So we're going to keep rolling. NFL, you know my disdain for it and my just the way that the NFL is force-fed to us. It just bothers me. It really, really does. Anyway, last week in the NFL, coming off of a 2-7 week 2 weeks ago, we managed to go 7-1. Now, granted, the Hail Murray helped us, and we had some help along the way. But so what? Those are the same games that have been costing us all year. They all came true last week. We hit it on the number 7-1, right? And our only loss was a questionable one. Excuse me. Having a little tickle problem here. Let me rinse that out. Thank you. Needed that. Okay, we're going to start betting my Nashville, Tennessee Titans. They're on the road. They're at Baltimore. Some people look at this as a revenge game for Baltimore losing in the playoffs and getting steamrolled by King Henry. Expect more of the same. Right now, Baltimore is a 6.5-point favorite. They're 6-3. So are the Titans. They're both 6-3. Both of their seasons are kind of on the brink right now, but Baltimore right now, there's a lot of questions about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson looks absolutely nothing like he did last year, probably because of the loss in the playoffs to Tennessee, which which brandished his reputation as a guy who can't win the big one. Now, I don't know if this game's actually a big one, but he's not playing well. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. Last week, Baltimore got exposed. New England ran the ball right down their throat. What do you think Tennessee's going to do? Say hello to King Henry 30 times. 170, 180 yards. Big game for him. Big game for Ryan Tannehill running that play-action fake. Take the 6.5. Even if Tennessee doesn't win, Baltimore doesn't win this game by a touchdown. Game 2, we're going to go to Cleveland and bet against Cleveland. We're not sold on them. We haven't been since the beginning of time. Yeah, we bet them a couple times and they hit for us, but we seem to be right on the number with them. We bet against them last week and hit, and we're going to do that again. Today we're taking Philly +3 at Cleveland. Cleveland is 6-3. Philly is a mess at 3-5-1, coming off a loss to the Giants of all teams. You look at it and you say, oh my God, this is too easy. Cleveland at home, only laying 3. Let's take OBJ. Let's take Baker Mayfield. Let's watch Nick Chubb run the ball. No. Slow your roll. Carson Wentz comes back. Baker Mayfield makes mistakes, which is what he always does. Philly gets the win outright. So don't be afraid to roll on the money line, but we're going to take them +3 on the road. Next up, we're going to stay with the road dog. Third straight road dog. We're going to take Atlanta +3.5 at New Orleans. Asked me this question 3 days ago, and I would have told you to take New Orleans because Jameis Winston was starting. Now he's out. Sean Payton is doubling down on Taysom Hill, who I like. I like Taysom, always have, but they're paying him too much money to sit on the bench behind Jameis, and Sean Payton is kind of just doubling down just to kind of stick a finger to everybody who says that they're overpaying him. So he's kind of forced to start him. He's going to start him, and they're going to lose at home to Atlanta. Matt Ryan's got that team moving, and the offense is definitely moving the ball. So we like Atlanta. We'll take the 3.5. That hook is huge. Make sure you get it. If that line moves down to 3, buy the hook. Take it. They might lose by a field goal, but Atlanta's still a victor. So we're going to take the Falcons. Next up, we're going to stay on the road, but this time we're going to take a road favorite. It's New England -2 at Houston. Yeah, it's two bad teams. Neither team's really going anywhere, but if you look closely, you look inside the numbers, here comes New England. New England's starting to win some games. They were just, at the beginning of the year, with all the players opting out because of COVID, Brady and Gronk gone, the whole Brady-Belichick mess, the divorce. Who's won the divorce? Well, Brady has. But Belichick right now is starting to get his team together, and they're coming off a couple of very impressive wins. They're 4-5 right now. They're running the hell out of the football. And Houston is Houston, you know. I mean, they're at home, and don't get me wrong, Deshaun Watson could scramble around and run around and throw some touchdowns, but no, you know, let's be real. That's a 2-7 football team that is going absolutely nowhere. Only their second week with a new head coach. They're a disaster. We're going to take New England -2 on the road. Next up, Miami-Denver. We're going to take the under, 45.5. Neither team can score, let's face it. Miami, we've rolled with them the last couple weeks under Tua Mania, and it's working because they're winning games. And right now they're on the doorstep of Buffalo, and they play Buffalo in the last week of the season in a game that could decide the AFC East. Could you imagine Miami going up there and winning in Buffalo and stealing the AFC East? I absolutely can, because I'm not a follower of, well, I'm a follower, but I'm not a fan of the Bills. Haven't been all year. But anyway, I got a little sidetracked there. Miami, Denver, neither team can score. That's the bottom line, right? It's going to stay low. The total's only 45.5. Even Las Vegas thinks that it's going to be a low-scoring game. But we're going to stick with it. We're going to roll with the under. Denver will be lucky to get in the end zone once. They'll kick a couple of field goals. Miami probably wins this game 20-10, somewhere around there. But who cares about the point spread? Either way, take the under, 45.5. Next up, we've got Indy versus Green Bay. In Indianapolis, we like the Colts. We're going to take the 2, or excuse me, we're going to lay the 2. Yes, a lot of people are looking at this as a trap game because it's Green Bay. It's Aaron Rodgers. Everybody loves Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You watch enough sports, as we all do, that's all you hear, right? But every year, they seem to fall flat in January. Now, don't get me wrong. Are they capable of going into Indy and winning? Very easily. Very easy. Get out of that cold weather, play indoors, get the win, go back. Not going to happen. All right, Green Bay right now 7-2. They've got their division on lockdown, and it's just not going to happen. This is a perfect spot for them to lose. Their defense isn't playing well. Indianapolis' defense is sneaky good. Nobody's talking about them, and we like Philly Riv to get it done. Phillip Rivers is turning us into a believer as Indy starts to pick up the pace. They're 6-3. At the end of this week, both teams will be 7-3. So take the Colts -2. Last up, we've got Kansas City and the Raiders on the big Sunday night showdown. A lot has been made about the Raiders when they beat them a month ago in Kansas City, and then they did a couple victory laps around Arrowhead Stadium in the bus, and Kansas City didn't like that. Kansas City's kind of looking at this as a revenge game. But when you look at it, the Raiders have, 8 players, starters, that are out from COVID on offense and defense. They're a mess right now. They're playing good ball, but there's no way you can possibly expect them to duplicate what they did at Arrowhead last month. This is not going to happen. This one could get ugly, right? Kansas City's up to 8, right? We have no problem laying the 8. We would lay double digits if it went up to 10. So we're going to roll. We're going to fire big. This is the lock of the week. It's Kansas City at home. Or, excuse me, it's Kansas City -8 on the road. We're going to roll with the Chiefs all day, baby. Finally, in that game, we're also going to bet the total. We're going to bet over 56.5 because we see Kansas City scoring in the 40s. we know the Raiders can score, right? Derek Carr is having a very good year. Jacobs is good. Derek Carr has some good options to throw to. So the Raiders aren't going to have much problem scoring. The Raiders will score into the 20s, right? But Kansas City's going to score well into the 40s. This one's going to get ugly. Kansas City wins this game 46-20. It goes over the total. Take the Chiefs and take the over. There's your 8 NFL picks coupled with your 10 NCAA picks. That gives us 18 for the week. So that's kind of where we want to be. 10-8 is a winning week. 11-8 starts to make you more money, or excuse me, 11-7 starts to make you more money. 12-6 and you get paid. So that's what we're going to shoot for. Why not? We did it last week. We can accomplish it again. Last week was just unbelievable. 14-4, right, on the week was just, ridiculous. So if we can manage something like that again, then, we're looking really good. But we want to thank everybody once again. I personally want to thank you all for all the well wishes that I got from when I was sick a couple weeks ago. I'm healthy. I'm back on the grind. We're doing it, and doing it well. Represent Queens. We were raised up in Oakland. Anyway, I wanted to thank everybody. That was really cool. If you're coming over from the Grease is the Word newsletter, yes, I'm wearing my colors. We've got swag. You want the swag? You can contact me. You can contact the website. You can contact the newsletter, and you can get some of the swag. It's pretty cool. So we want to thank you again. If this is your first time watching us, go ahead and click the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner so you can be notified every single time we put one out. It's usually Friday nights. Sometimes it'll be Saturday morning, but usually it's Friday nights that we put these out. So we want to thank you all again for watching us and paying attention to us. And we're going to go big this week. We're going to make a lot of money. So if you want to make a lot of money, you got to bet a lot of money. So make sure you do that. And finally, don't forget, good luck to you.